Neswadia College of Commerce. I'm pleased to welcome everyone joining us for this workshop on Lean Canvas Model, an initiative by the Startup and Innovation Cell of our college. Before we begin, I request Dr. Mariam Narona, coordinator of the Startup and Innovation Cell, to tell us about the idea behind this initiative. Over to you, Mariam ma'am.
Thank you, Akshat. Hi, everyone. Good evening. Thank you for joining today. Hi, Sunanda. And what I'd like to say is, last week I attended a faculty development program on building the startup and innovation centers, which was conducted by the Entrepreneurship Development Institute of India and the university, the IIL, Innovation Incubation Lab of Savitribai Phule Pune University. And it was an eye-opener of sorts because all of us know this, there's this very famous quote by Earl Nightingale, which goes like this, that everything begins with an idea. But I would say successful businesses begin with ideas that solve problems. And that is something which many a time when students are thinking of business ideas, you tend to miss it. Not only is newbie, if you don't have much of exposure, what you think is that you can come up with a product or a service and then, try to sell it. But actually what you need to do is you need to start by identifying a problem which you can solve with a product or service, and you need to tap customers to find out whether they'll pay for that product or service. You need to have a customer profile in mind. You need to know exactly who your customer is, what is their age group, how do they think, feel, act, behave, how do they spend their time, and whether finally they're willing to pay for your product or service. And what we find with students is, number one, when you have to think about a problem or come up with a problem yourself for coming up with a business idea, you find it difficult, you're stuck. And you need, I think you do better when you're given a problem statement and you try to brainstorm and try to come up with a solution to that. And some of you have business ideas which you think you would like to execute, or some have already executed. So I thought a workshop like this by someone who's actually gone there and done that, been there, done that, instead of teachers telling you that this is how you can do it, I think it's very important. And that's why I thought that as a run up to the startup idea contest at college level, I think we need to have a hands-on kind of an experience for you where you learn how to develop business models. So that was the idea behind it. And when I asked Sunanda, some of you are familiar with Sunanda because she's come to college last year also. She's a very enthusiastic speaker and mentor, and when I asked her, she agreed, and that's why we were able to organize this at such short notice. So I hope this workshop leaves you with a lot of clarity regarding how you can build your business model. All right, thank you. Over to Akshat. So, Bayar, sir, you need to be on mute. Thank you. Yeah. Over to you, Akshat.
Thank you, ma'am. Our resource person for this workshop is Ms. Sunanda Verma Bhatta, co-founder of the Daftar, a co-working space that is helping nurture the startup ecosystem in Pune through the platform they are providing. Sunanda has spent several years in brand management in the diverse domains of pharmaceuticals, FMCG, food and beverages, and services industry. However, a few years ago, a serendipitous shot at the co-working industry inspired her to foray into entrepreneurship and led to the foundation of the Daftar. This decision has led her through a roller coaster ride full of life transforming experiences. The establishment of the Daftar has exploited the brand strategist in her to the fullest, and at the same time, it has made her push her boundaries in the field of people management, operations, finance, etc. In short, it has made her wear several thinking hats and juggle up with multiple tasks. Her aspiration with the Daftar is to make it one of the best co working spaces in the world. And this is driven by a vision of building a community of 1 million like minded co workers spread across 100 locations globally. On behalf of Neswadia College of Commerce, I thank Ms. Sunanda Verma Bhatta for joining us today and request her to begin her talk. Over to you, Sunanda ma'am.
Hi all, thank
Just
you
a
so much.
pointer. Yeah. Sunanda, sorry to interrupt. Just
No
a
worries.
reminder to everybody that we are using a free version of Zoom. So if the meeting ends in between, we'll give you a warning about 2-3 minutes before, and you have to use the same link to join back. Thank you. Yeah, Sunanda.
Sure. Okay, it's always a pleasure to come back to this place. I really enjoy interacting with you all, and that's the reason maybe I keep coming back. And even if I'm able to contribute to one startup coming from this group, I think I'll feel blessed. So that's the entire agenda, and that's what I really like. And I really like the kind of activities that you guys keep doing, the efforts that you're putting, and I'm sure they're going to pay back in terms of getting more startups coming from this place, more entrepreneurs coming out. If not anything, I always feel that entrepreneurship, if not done like professionally, there are so many traits that you can pick up which are going to help you overall in your life, be it your personal life or be it your professional life or corporate life. So that always helps. Having said this, business model canvas is more like a workshop, and this is the first time that we'll be doing it virtually. So usually what happens is that it's a very interactive time. I mean, for it to really work, it's good that it happens on both sides. I know it becomes difficult when it happens on a digital platform like this. So either we can break the norm and we can make it as interactive as possible, or we can or if you guys feel that you would like to know more, I'll keep speaking, but at the end of the day you guys will have to work on it, because one way is not going to work either ways. I mean, either you speak out today and we make it interactive today, or you guys speak out tomorrow when it is going to be more of work done from your side and presentation from your side. So the way we have divided this entire workshop is that today I'll be talking about the entire model. I'll introduce you to the model. I'll introduce you to the entire concept. And then you will have to work on a problem statement, and you will have to come up with a business model canvas. Eventually, what happens is that whenever you have an idea, if you put this canvas in place, then all those questions, all those things that Dr. Mariam was saying, that it's not just about doing something or working on an idea, but it's actually about identifying a problem and executing it in a way that it serves some purpose, it adds some value. So this entire canvas gives you a framework to do that. Just give me a minute, please. So are we all together on this?
Yes.
Cool. So let me just run you through the presentation. Like I said, a business model canvas. If you look at a business model, then as per the definition, it says that it's the rationale of how an organization creates, delivers, and captures value. So at the end of the day, what does an entrepreneur do? We've done already a kind of there was a talk I remember with your
You
colleague.
शांत बस.
Sorry. Sorry, is it someone's mic on or?
Yes, she's been muted, ma'am. I'm sorry for
Okay,
that.
okay, okay. So the entire concept of entrepreneur building an enterprise is to create value. The idea is that whatever has been happening, either you add more value to it. So you will see that there are sometimes the businesses that add more value. For example, all the e-commerce businesses, okay, not that we weren't getting things, no, not that whatever we get on Amazon we never got it, right? We used to get it, but we used to get it in the physical market. There was a value addition that was done to it, that we started getting it online. We started getting it at the click of our finger, right? And there have been times when certain highly innovative things have come up. For example, the way iPhone came up, it just changed. So nobody could ever imagine, nobody could ever think that they could have so many features coming together on a phone. So it's just the iPhone which actually revolutionized the concept. Both of them added value, agreed. But if you'll see, then they have done it in a very different way. So it's not just about always coming up with something revolutionary. It's also about something that you feel that okay, it is happening, but I know that I can make it better. That is what an entrepreneur does. I mean, that entrepreneur actually sees something which does not exist, but then can imagine it, right? And then finds out a way of delivering that. And that is what actually an entrepreneur in an enterprise that comes out of it does. If you keep doing the same thing,
Please unmute yourself.
so if you keep doing same things what you've been doing, there are businesses that do that, but they're more like a businessman or a common business. So that is how I usually see a difference, that if you really want to add value, that's where the differentiation comes, and that's what brings scale. Otherwise hota hai. There's one shop opens, that then you will see in the market there's other shop that opens, and then there are series of shops opening in that market. That also exists, that also generates profit. So that is also a business. But at the same time, if you see something who brings something revolutionary, who adds value, this is the person who actually is able to scale up and create huge enterprises. That's what makes the difference. So why should we be using business model is because you see this on this slide, it's like a single pager. So it gives you like a snapshot. It's like a single go-to page to which you can go and you can see what your business would look like. So it'll give you a lot of clarity. It'll give you a lot of focus. And then when you see something together as a whole, there are chances that, you'll find out the loopholes. There are chances that you'll identify, hey, this is something that doesn't sound right, or this is something that doesn't. So, if I'm saying that, suppose I'm just calculating my costs, but if I've not put all my cost heads right, it is very easy for me to just miss one thing, and my entire calculation will go for a toss. But if I put all my heads correctly on one page, then for me, missing out would not be, there'll be less chances of you missing out. So in a way, it reduces the risk of failure. So there are chances of you missing out on certain things would be lesser if you put it together. And it's usually not like a one-time exercise. So what happens is that, you have an idea, you start thinking about it, and then you start developing it. So it is usually developed over a period of time, and you keep putting whatever comes to your mind, you keep putting it, it keeps on evolving over a period of time. And at the end of the day, you would see that, okay, this is something which looks closer to a complete business model. And after you start your business also, it will keep on changing. So a startup is never something which you've thought that this is going to be the way, this is how I'm going to execute it. But eventually you might see that 2 months, 3 months down the line, what you're doing is something very different than what you would have been doing. So that is what the startup is all about. It's all about experimenting. It's all about failing as well. So you fail on one side and then you say that, okay, this I tried doing, so at least I know this way doesn't work. Let me try and explore some other way. So it's a process. It is not a one-time activity. It continues. And if there are more than one founders, if there's a team working on it, it actually serves as like a single pager guiding tool for everybody to know what we are supposed to do, where we are supposed to go, and how we are supposed to do it. So it puts your what, whys, wheres in one page. Okay, so this is the thing that Dr. Mariam was talking about, that before creating the model or before working on something, it's very important to know what we have to work on. I mean, what is the challenge? What is the problem? Or what is the opportunity that you're seeing in the market? Like I said, there could be a problem that you identify, there could be a challenge that you identify, and at the same time, there could be a value addition, there could be an opportunity that you see, there could be a gap that you see. So there are a lot of times when you will see that, people don't even realize that it's a problem. But then when you come up with something revolutionary, then it so happens that, it was an opportunity that you catered to. For example, again, taking the example of Apple, there was no problem. Was there a problem? No, right? But then they identified, he understood that there is some great value that can be brought to the table for which people are going to pay. And that vision really, really worked. His thought process really worked. So it is not necessary that it's a problem, but it can be an opportunity, but it has to serve a purpose. There should be some value addition happening to it. So just keep your eyes open, look around, and keep experimenting. Sometimes we don't even realize that the challenge or an opportunity just exists around us. And then we don't realize because we're not looking for it. It is very difficult to find something if you're not looking for it. I mean, you got to look for it. You have to have that perspective in mind कि वो पता तो चले कि वो exist करता है. अगर if you'll not even, I mean, you're not conscious enough to look for it, then there are very few chances that something will come out of the blue and then you will realize. But if you're actually conscious, you have your eyes and ears open, and you keep looking for opportunities, you keep looking for problems, then there is a chance that you might strike one faster as compared to something just coming your way. So it has to be done consciously. It has to be done. You have to do it in a regular manner. Because for me also, there was a time when I just couldn't identify problems, and it doesn't happen every day. ऐसा नहीं होता कि रोज कुछ ना कुछ problem दिखाई दे जाती है. There are a few people to whom it does, and I know them very closely, but that they get around 10 to 15 ideas in a day. Could be feasible, not feasible, can't talk about that, but they really get like 10 to 15 ideas in a day. There are people like that. And there are people like me who really at times don't get it. There was a time when I never used to get ideas. I mean, I used to be as blank as anybody, like, okay, I can't see anything. But I think it's over the time when you start looking for it, when you start being in that frame of mind, it starts working. And trust me, I'm talking from my own experience that it starts working. So then what you do is that once you feel that idea is worth enough, then you select that idea and then you build the model on it. So when you select the idea, you start building the model, and then that business model will help you tell the entire story. So that's the entire concept of going from a business idea to a business model. I emphasized a lot on the challenge or the opportunity because this is the most important thing. This is where it starts. So if this is not done in a right way, then the entire exercise becomes more like, a formality or something that you just got to do for the sake of doing it. So unless and until you're doing something innovative, doesn't serve the purpose. This is how a business model canvas looks like. This is the one pager that I'm talking about. Importantly, what you would see is that on the right hand side is the side wherein you will see the customer focused side, and the left hand side is the side which is the business focused side. So right hand side majorly talks about one, the value which is being generated, how we are giving it out to the customer. Center is the value proposition. Value proposition, how we are giving out to the customer, is talked about in the right hand side, and how we are creating that value comes on the left hand side. So this is how we can remember what the overall business model canvas looks like. Like I said, the right hand side is about creation of the value, left is about the delivery of the value, and the lower end is basically talking about revenues and costs, which are more about how we're going to capture that value. So these are more number driven, more quantitative. How is it guys? Are you understanding? Anything that you would like to say? Anyone? Dr. Mariam? Guys, at least say something. Are you there?
It was wonderful, ma'am.
Are you able to understand?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so we were all
We
on
can
mute,
relate it.
that's why we couldn't respond. So yeah, so right, I think students should be able to say, people are typing random things in the chat box, like somebody typed stock market and somebody's typed, I have a startup idea, but I don't have funding or how to collect funding. So we'll get to that, and the session would be ending in 10 minutes. Please use the same link to join. Just a reminder, which Rohan has typed in the chat box. And we'll take these questions later. Please don't type random things in the chat box. If you have anything that related to what is being said right now, you can ask.
Yeah, if you have anything till here, if you would like to know anything, just let me know.
Yeah, Sunanda, I think if you could just even probably explain how you will be able to deliver value to your customer only when you have some empathy with what are the needs and of a customer group. Like, for example, like you have halal cosmetics. So it caters to the needs of a particular market. So unless you don't empathize with your customer, you won't be able to develop a product or something like, say, Swiggy started Swiggy Genie during the lockdown. That's not the USP. They are a restaurant aggregator, but they launched that only when they had some empathy with the customer. Ke, okay, abhi customer ko ye service shayad lagega, So
Exactly.
if you just could explain a little bit about that aspect.
Sure, we'll do that when we'll talk about customer
when we
service.
come back. Yeah.
Cool.
Anything so far? Anything, students? If no, then you can continue, Sunanda, another 5 minutes. I think this will end.
Sure.
Yash Chogle, what do you want to ask something? Yes, Yash Chogle has raised his hand.
Yes,
you want
Yash.
to ask something? Okay, you can go on, Sunanda, no problem. He may be last later or something. Does not seem to be responding. Yeah.
No worries. Just give me a moment. The presentation is not working. Just give me a moment. The presentation seems to be stuck. We might have to just restart it. Wait. Because that's also going to go.
Yeah,
be
yeah,
over.
yeah. I think
Yeah?
so.
Let's
I
do
think
that
so.
then.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yes, Radhika, I think we can end the session and start again.
Yes, ma'am.